Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Elon Musk said if his purchase of Twitter goes through, he's going to lift the ban on Donald Trump's account. James Corden said, tell you what, we're leaving this show in the nick of time. Jimmy Kimmel said, the guy that names his kids Roman numerals will make sure that they don't do anything foolish. The New York Times has a great article titled The Strange Afterlife of George Carlin. I have shared it on the subreddit Daily Comedy News and the podcast group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. There's a lot of buzz on this upcoming HBO documentary, May 20th and 21st. As I checked my email right before I hit record, I have made contact with Kelly Carlin, so I'm working it out to get her on the show. I worked with Kelly when we put together Carlin's Corner for SiriusXM, so I'm looking forward to catching up with her. So hopefully I can have something there next week once we work out the particulars. Mark Maron talked about Carlin and said there's something about his righteous aggravation. It's a rare point of view, and it's rare that it's a natural point of view. It's not something you can pretend to make happen. Aggravation is not always funny. Bill Burr said that when Carlin spoke, you always felt like you were hearing the truth or his truth. He was giving you the truth of what he felt, which most of us don't do. It's refreshing to listen to another human being tell you exactly how they feel, even if it's 180 degrees removed from what you agree with. George Carlin's American Dream, May 20th and 21st on HBO. They, of course, spoke with Kelly Carlin with the setup here. Those who have closest to George have learned that when George is unable to advocate for himself, he can made to be seem like he supported any opinion at all. Kelly said, it's a daily battle for me. At first, I was like, I'll be the interpreter and tell them what I think he meant. And then it was like, that's not my job. It's like trying to push back a tidal wave sometimes. The Times article also touched upon what I've referred to here as the angry Carlin. I'll just stop off real quick because not everybody listens every day. Late in George's career, when that stuff that he put out turn of the century was new, I felt like it was like angry Carlin, and here 20 years later, I feel like it has aged amazingly, and I think Mark Maron nailed it. Mark said, Carlin's anger became more pronounced than his ability to speak funny within it, but in every hour-long set, there'd be one bit that was worth the entire special. So really great stuff. I'll do more from that article on the weekend. Dave Chappelle in the news every day. The man who allegedly attacked Dave Chappelle during a show in L.A. Allegedly, he possibly did it. Who knows? Was it him? We don't really know. But the guy who allegedly attacked Dave Chappelle during a show, he got some bad news. The judge rejected the public defender's bid for the alleged person to be released on his own recognizance. His bail was left unchanged at $30,000. Joe Rogan reacted to the LA District Attorney Office's decision to avoid pursuing felony charges against the person who allegedly attacked Dave Chappelle. I mean, who knows if he did it or not? Rogan went on Instagram and said, when you see that a person commits a clear crime and does it to one of the most loved performers alive and does it in a very high-profile public setting and it gets captured on video and you don't charge that person for what they obviously did, it's the kind of thing that makes people lose faith in law enforcement. That's never good. What does somebody need to do to actually get charged with a crime in L.A.? Speaking of crime, interesting segue, Johnny Mac. From the New York Post, New York City's soaring crime rate is no laughing matter. Wait for it. But John Mulaney started ripping a Mayor Eric Adams about it. This happened Monday night at the Robin Hood benefit. Adams defended the arrest of a woman selling mangoes in a subway station. Let's quickly educate ourselves on that story. From News 12 The Bronx, police say the mango vendor was issued a summons on April 5th, and she refused to stop vending at the location after multiple warnings. She was also issued a summons for unlicensed vending back on April 29th and was released. On Monday, Adams said the NYPD was right to handcuff and search the mango vendor because street vending could lead to more nefarious offenses. In a press conference, he said, you just can't do that. This is going to be an SNL sketch, by the way. This is totally SNL. You ready? Adams. You just can't do that. Next day, it's propane tanks being used on the subway system. The next day, it's barbecuing on the subway system. Mulaney at the benefit said, Mayor Adams, what are you talking about? What is a subway barbecue and why do you hate them so much? Mayor Adams always addresses two problems and then a crazy one. He then made fun of the mayor, saying, no guns, no crime, no barbecues on the subway, better schools, better transportation, no more volleyball games on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. Fantastic. Hey, is Adam Sandler taking my advice? If you are a relatively new listener, I have pointed out, I might not be a fan of Adam Sandler movies. Now, there is one great Adam Sandler movie, The Great Uncut Gems, and I have been advising Adam Sandler, do that. Don't do Jack and Jill. Don't do Hubie Halloween. Do Uncut Gems. You're really good at that. Well, The trailer for Hustle is out. This, too, I've shared on the Facebook group page, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, and it looks pretty good. Way to go, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler plays a, down on his luck NBA scout, and he finds, the magic player that's going to be fantastic and change everything. It looks like it's a serious role. Pretty good. Can't wait. Nice job, Adam Sandler. So this bemuses me. As I mentioned, I have savaged Adam Sandler on this podcast. Absolutely savaged his movies. I've done entire weekends where all I've done is rip Adam Sandler movies. Not one comment. But there's another comedian. She recently hosted the Oscars. I'm not going to say her name because anytime I say anything about that comedian other than she's awesome, people get mad. Somebody got upset with me on the subreddit. I appreciate the comment, but dudes, that joke was not funny. I'm not saying her name. But boy, if the Adam Sandler Mafia ever teams up with the Famous Persons fan club, I'm in trouble. Today we'll head over to Gossip Corner, but no, we're not going to find Pete Davidson there. We're going to find Tina Fey there. Yeah. Last week at the Netflix Comedy Festival, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler answered some questions. One of the questions, who is the most famous person to ever hit on you? Amy Poehler said John McCain. Tina Fey said, you're sort of his type, an Arizona blonde. But then Tina Fey claimed that one night when she was on SNL, Kevin Spacey hit on her. Tina said, this is the kind of weird thing that used to happen to me. One time when Kevin Spacey was hosting SNL, at the after party, it was late, and Kevin Spacey tried to hit on me. Kevin Spacey came out in 2017, long after Tina had left SNL. Tina said, I was like, who is this for? Who is this little performance for? Hey, there's a new episode of my casual travel podcast. It is called Travel is Back. It is a show where I go places and I tell you what I like to do when I'm there. This week, it's probably my favorite episode, Zion National Park. It's in Utah. I did that on my recent Las Vegas trip, drove 2 hours up to Zion. Zion is beautiful. I think Zion is more beautiful than the Grand Canyon, and I don't say that lightly. Zion National Park. If you're ever in Vegas, take the 2 hours and go there. But if you want to hear me bopping around Zion with the portable recorder, that podcast is called Travel is Back, wherever you get your shows. Vulture wrote about some comedians doing stand-up in Ukraine. Anton Timoshenko uploaded his April 17th stand-up to YouTube. He said, this is my first stand-up in English. Sorry for mistakes. I wrote it in a week, so sorry if it's not funny. I was in a hurry to avoid death. He recorded it in front of a small packed crowd in what he says is a bomb shelter in Kyiv. He's trying to raise money for Ukrainian relief efforts. This is our Comedy Cellar. It's really easy to find an audience for stand-up. You just come and people are here and they can't go out because of the air raid sirens. Why do we always need to ask the West and the West answers us like it's an internet provider? Like, yeah, Ukraine, if you want to get a new package of sanctions, please upload more photos of dead people from Bucha. Even if we forget about the war for a second, all people understand that we need to reduce the use of oil and gas to save our planet, but we continue to buy the stuff even when thousands of people are dying. Do you really think we'll save the environment someday? I'm sure when people start dying of global warming, the world would be like, okay, we're imposing sanctions against the sun. Now the sun can't buy iPhones. I know what you're thinking while watching this video. The war is really far from me. I can always run to Australia. It's false because our planet is an ellipsoid. It's a circle. So if you start to run from one point, someday you'll get back to the place you start. Pretty good stuff there. Let's stay international. The Dubai Festival kicks off. Russell Peters there tonight. I probably should have given you a little more time to book a flight and a hotel and get to Dubai. You weren't going anyway. Don't get mad at me. But hey, I'll give you some notice if you want to see Russell Peters doing a DJ set at the Dubai's Electric Pawn Shop. That's not till Saturday, so you've got time. So if you don't hit that, that's on you, not me. The owner of the Electric Pawn Shop says, everybody who's a real fan of Russell Peters knows he has a deep love and knowledge of hip-hop. He's one of the first comedians to tour the world with a DJ, and he continues to do so until today with his DJ starting from scratch. On your TV today, Hacks. Really good show. That returns to HBO Max. Gerard Carmichael's on Jimmy Kimmel, Howie Mandel on The Tonight Show, Amy Sedaris on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and that is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. If you want to support the show, buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews, or become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts. $5 a month gets you early releases. They usually come out the afternoon before the official release date, and those episodes are ad-free on Apple Podcasts. If you want to do that, $5 a month. See you tomorrow.